Ladies and gentlemen, we will start our event in 30 seconds, so please have a seat and make yourself comfortable. Thank you. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Shalom, Om Swastiastu, Namo Buddhaya. Salam kebajikan untuk kita semua. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to visit the lecture, Faculty of Law, University of Diponegoro 2020. To the Honorable Dr. Joko Sutyono SHM Hum, as Head of Magister Program Faculty of Law, Diponegoro University. To the Honorable Associate Professor Salawati Matbasir, LLB LLM, the Lecturer of Faculty of Law, National University of Malaysia, as a speakers for today's event. To the Honorable Ms. Anindita Gita Kirina Persada, SHMH, as the moderator for today's event. And also the fellow participants. Thank you very much for all the participants for your enthusiasm to join the sessions. Before that, let me introduce myself. My name is Faraziana Tisha Putri, and you can call me Tisha, as the Master of Ceremony for today's event. First of all, let us give our praise to our God, to His blessing and mercy. We can still gather in this lovely afternoon. So let us start today's event with prayers. So this event will run well without any obstacle at all. So let the pray begin. Amen. Thank you. Before we enter the core of these sessions, I would like to read today's agenda. The first is a welcoming speech from Dr. Joko Sutyono, as I'm home, as the head of Magister Program Faculty of Law Diponegoro University. And then today we will talking about research and review with Master of Law student that will be guided by our moderator, Ms. Anindita Gita Kirina Persada SH. And the third is the presentation that will be delivered by the one and only Associate Professor Salawati Matbasir LLB LLM. After that, we have the discussions and question and answer sessions, and finally, it's closing. Well, without any further ado, we are now going to listen to the speeches delivered by the head of Master of Law Study Program, Faculty of Law Diponegoro University. So, ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Dr. Joko Sutyono SHM.
MC, thank you very much. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. The Honorable Associate Professor Salawati Matbasir, a lecturer of Kebangsaan Malaysia University, as the speaker of the day. Dr. Ratna Herawati as the Secretary of Master of Law Study Program of Diponegoro University Semarang. The Honorable Student of Master of Law Study Program of Diponegoro University Semarang. All praises to Allah that we can gather today on visiting professor research review for master student program seminar website with Associate Professor Salawati Matbasir from Kebangsaan Malaysia University in a good condition even we are on the COVID-19 pandemic situation. The aim of this event is to giving comprehension for all the students who still or will do the thesis proposal so they can do the research without any difficulties and could do it well. Throughout this forum, I hope all the students can use these opportunities to ask the speaker so this event will be useful for all of us. I will be like to say thank you to the faculty leaders, speaker, participant, and seminar committee for the cooperation and attention so this event all materials well. As I am saying Bismillahirrahmanirrahim, we will officially begin this event. Akhirul kalam billahi taufiq. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Okay, thank you so much, Dr. Joko Sutyono SHM Home, for the amazing speech. Proceed to the next agenda, There is a research and review sessions that will be guided by our moderator, Ms. Aninitya Gita Kirna Prasada SH. But before that, I would like to introduce and read the CV of Ms. Anindya. Okay, we have Ms. Aninitya Gita Kirna Prasada SH, born in Semarang 1994, a Bachelor of Law from Faculty of Law Diponegoro University on 2016, with international law major. The research that's been done are legal problems in the applications of Act number 2006, 26 of 2000 on Human Rights Court ad hoc and Human Rights Court, the implications of international law against the Rohingya case, the legal protections of Indonesian worker in United States of America with the case of Sandra Wororuntu, currently completing a thesis of her master program in Diponegoro University. All right, without any further ado, from Ms. Aninitya Gita Kirna Prasada, the floor is yours.
Okay, thank you so much, Francie. Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for joining this seminar website today. Thank you to Dr. Joko Stiono as the head of the Master of Law Study Program for opening our event. Too bad Dr. Joko has another class to attend this afternoon, so he can join us until finish. So yeah, thank you so much, Dr. Joko. Okay, today we are pleased to welcome Association Professor Dr. Salawati Matbasir, LLB LLA, special guest from University Kebangsaan Malaysia. Professor Salawati is an association professor at the Faculty of Law. Professor Salawati's specialties are international law, international development law, migration and refugees law, and also space law. And today she will be sharing and teaching us about research review for master student program. With that, I ask you for all participants to give your full attention to Professor Salawati. So Professor Salawati, please join us. And the time is yours.
Okay, thank you very much to everyone. I think today I'm very glad to be with about 23% people here. I've been giving the last session for me today regarding the helping master students to improve their research material. Last week I was talking to the PhD student, so today I'm talking to the master student. I do believe the master student in this group doing their during their master by thesis, because if they do master by course, then they might not have so much problem, because they might just write a project paper which is not that heavy because they're already finishing their credits. But if you're talking about the by research, is actually the student more or less have to work like the PhD student. The only thing that is the limits normally is the limitation of words. It's only make a differences between the limitation of a PhD and a master's. And from my experience, many students who doing master by thesis at the level of masters, they want to expand their thesis that they wrote in masters to PhD level, meaning that whether they just little bit change the topic, but still the basics is the same. Okay, whether it's PhD or master, still you're right, you have to write in such an academic way. When you write a thesis, you cannot like you write a textbook. Always I remind the student, when you write a thesis is not a textbook. Thesis is something that you have to look very serious, because you need to explain to the people in your own way what is actually the problem that you're facing, but you determine to write this problem and to give the solution for that. So this is a very important, because if you don't know what is you want to go and write, there is a problem. That's why first of all, you must know what is actually you want to write, in which field that actually you want to write. Okay, I take for example the public international law. The public international law is a big umbrella, so it's a huge. So under the public international law, which branches that you want to write. Maybe you want to write international economic law, maybe you want to write refugee law, maybe you want to write on environmental law. Okay, good. Maybe you want to write, I take my examples, maybe you want to write international economic law. And under international economic law, you have 3 big branches, which is WTO, IMF, and World Bank, which is development. So if you must know that your writing must be very macroscopic, meaning you must go to one issues that you can tell that issue and you can say, you can solve the problem. Again, it's not about writing a textbook. It's about that thesis. When people read, people can find that you are doing your research, you are doing that things nicely, and you are actually prepare yourself to answer whoever that want to ask you regarding the problem, because you are on the way to have your own expertise on that particular field. That's but the normally problem for the people is, first, because transition from the undergraduate to the postgraduate. Because the transition is when you as undergraduate, if you are not a particular person that doing research, or maybe just for the God's sake for the assignment, you might think that where I want to find the good resources, and where is the good resources to be found. Okay, again and again, I always want to stress to you, ensure the law that you want to write. Is it pure law? Is it international law? Is the political science that mixed with law, or you have the social science that mixed with law? That will determine the variety of the ingredients of the content of your writing. Okay, you understand that? Okay, one, you know it. Second, how many chapters you want to write? Again, you are not write a textbook. You are write an academic contribution to the society. Many people forget about it. For them, I'm just writing master thesis, just for God's sake to get my master's. It's wrong. When you choose to be write a fully research, you actually already one legs, same like the PhD student. The only PhD student, they have 2 legs. The master only 1 leg first. So once you know what you want to write, we have to sit down. Do you understand actually that the philosophical and jurisprudence of the law that you need to write? This is to determine your writing is different from others. If then you cannot understand that, what makes your PhD, your master's thesis are different? That would not be anything. All right. Now you are going to tell me that, okay, I understand that, but what is the good, I can say that research material that I want to use? Of course, in research, you have the primary resources, you have secondary resources. The primary resources, again and again, why I say you must know what field that you write is because you need to know the scholars that are very familiar, or actually the scholars in that particular field. So if you knows that, then you start to know where to get. You have to differentiate the scholars, which is a very well-versed in that field. Then by reading their writings, their journals, their book, it will bring you to the standard or the mind. You're not going to be like them. You're not going to have 100% like what they think, but you can deliver your writing within your own needs and how you understand the matters. Okay. First, the second, the primary. The primary sources must come from textbooks, reports, government reports, NGO reports, and also UN's reports, or any organization that being recognized. Okay, and also from the journal. And journal, as you can see, there is Q1, Q2, QT in the Science Direct, and also Scopus. Even though there is a journals are not in that particular, still you can use it as long as it's relevant to what you write. Okay. Okay. So how you want to know that your research material is up to date? I always say that to my students. First of all, your research material must be the latest. Latest, I mean, for you write your thesis, it must be you got the at least 5 years back. 2020, 2019, 2018, 2017, and 2016. That we consider as the latest issues. Because you quote 1989, 1991, that is outdated already. Many students just like, for God's sake, get that from the books from the library and just like, okay, I quote this one. But I'm not saying it's not relevant. In the context of the historical writing at the chapter 2, it could be, yes. But still, in the later scenario, you must bring the latest writing from the scholars in that particular field. So if you already have the books, you already have the journal, you already have the report, you are in a safe place because you already have that primary sources for your master thesis. Second, the secondary one is where you get the write-up, yeah, you get books not from the scholars, but someone that can write on that matters, but not that same like your scholars. And for example, online magazine that credible, online news that credible, also newspaper, magazine, that's the published one, yeah, you can see it. So that one is, we call it the secondary material. So you need to differentiate the importance of the primary and the secondary material. You might think, but the secondary material can be the primary material when you write something that no other people write before you. For example, you want to write regarding a law or just the introduction of the law that just being enforced in your country. For example, like Malaysia, last few days that the government want to declare the emergency. The government is actually the prime minister, but they cannot do it because the king does not happy with that. So the king rejected that idea. So if suddenly one of my students say that, I want to see that how Malaysia readiness, Malaysian, and also the legal, what is the legal issue in Malaysia to pronounce or to announce the state emergency. So no one will do that because we, of course, Malaysia have an experience having the state emergency back in 1969 until 1971. But how far that the latest scenario in 21st century can be right, because no one do that. So this particular student, if he or she write that, her interview with the expert of constitutional law, her or his quotation by the newspaper can be the primary one because there is no other people write like that. So it's very important for us to know that you know who's who in this field that you write. That is easy for you to capture the issue. Okay. And then what is your question or research objective? For master, normally you got three only. Normally I just say to the student the three research question, which is you must answer within your chapter. So if and please, if you have research question or the research question is need only one research question per research question. You cannot see to explore the matter of it and then to understanding to, no, you must have that very precise one because you're going to answer it through your chapters. Okay, that's why for me the first chapter is your proposal. I don't know in Unde, but in my university is a proposal. Whatever you propose, that is the one that become your first chapter. Second is historical. When you write a legal things, you must have the historical. Historical is what the situation or what laws that connect to what you write. There must be something that make you want to write. And thirdly is this, and the third one is the jurisprudence of the things you want to. In international law, the jurisprudence of it is a very important because you need to know what is the reason behind that. What is the reason behind that law? There must be a reason why I can say the legislative introduced that law, or why the nations around the world happy to become a party to that particular convention. That is very crucial. And the third one, the fourth one is normally your substance. Your substance is what you want to write, what you want to tell, what the problem that you want to solve. And the fifth is normally the comparison studies. You need to do the comparison studies with what you write within the countries or within the system of other countries. And finally, you will have your conclusion and suggestion. I'm not worried about your proposal. I'm also not worried about history and jurisprudence. The problem that you're always facing is normally your substance. Many students fail in that between because there is no connection from chapter 1 to chapter 2, chapter 3. That's why I said again, your writing, your thesis can talk to me. For example, if I read the thesis of my student, I imagine that I watching the movie because I want to know what's next. What's next? I cannot just like I enter one room, finish there, and I enter another room. No, thesis cannot be separated each chapter. It must be flow continuously from first chapter discussion to second chapter to third until finish. Then we will know where is your substance. Thesis without substance is not thesis. It's just a normal writing. I can say assignment writing. No impact. So after you see this is happen in your thesis, you must give the recommendation, right? Because you want to you want to solve the issue. The recommendation must be reasonable and cannot say, I would like to suggest to government to look into this matter very seriously. The Ministry of Foreign Affairs have to look this thing seriously and must start to have a good officer in that field. No. You cannot give orders. You cannot tell government what to do. They won't listen to you. Who are you? You must suggest something that reasonable and can be done. For example, if you say that, okay, how to try to eliminate the problem of the domestic violence, you say that the law that have in Indonesia is not enough to stop the husband or to the partners for being rude and also being rough and tough on the women. So you already have the law, but you say the law must be amended. You will give the suggestion that this particular law, you not say that law is not good. No, you said the law is there, but you need to amend to be it's more tough and to be more serious and can punish the people and at the same time give them a lesson from what they do and also a signal to another man outside, don't ever do this to your partner. So that is the contributions. Because you cannot simply I wish or I hope government. So that's why me and my student, I'm very tough supervisor. I don't allow any of my student write something like, okay, doctor finish, okay, chapter 1, okay, chapter 2, chapter 3. As I said to you, I don't have any problem with your chapter 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. But when it's come your chapter 6, then I don't want any of you just give a suggestion that idealism, you just idealistic. Is it come from my brain? I think it's supposed to be, because the reality, your government don't want to listen to you. No one want to listen to you, and you cannot practice what you already did. So this is for me is a very important for me because we have to, for me, we have to be careful with what you write. We must know where we're heading to with your thesis. Yeah, that's why for me, very important for me to know that you must know what you write. You must, like, this is a baby, like your baby. You are the one who start to when the baby born, how to take care of the baby. So your thesis is your baby, despite it's only a master's thesis. Still, this is your baby, and you cannot simply say that, oh, all right, I think that I read the thesis, I'm very good, I already done this part, and I think whatever the chapter 6 can be put, then it's okay, finish. You know one thing, when I become the examiner for other students, the other lecturer students, normally I read chapter 1 and I go at the back chapter 6. I don't read the whole first. If I can see the relevancy between the chapter 6 with the chapter 1, then I read all. Because if I see sometimes that very idealistic that come from the student, then I will say that this is not a critical study. This is not a thesis, because the thesis must change the way you think after you do your thesis. Of course, PhD is permanent head damage, but master also quarter head damage, or half of your head will be damaged, because you need to do it very seriously. That's what we call research. Research means every day you have to read, every day you must write your chapters. Reading and read and read to make you understand, and read to make you realize whether your recommendation is actually can be used or cannot be used by the public. Again and again, if you just write your thesis for God's sake just to get your master, you get your master, but you don't have wow factor. You just a normal people like never did that. But if you do your master very seriously and you look at it as something that, okay, this is my contribution. I read a lot every single day. I will sit down and start my writing every day, whatever difficulties that I face, then you can see changes in your thinking and your act. Because if you write a thesis, you cannot simply just quote. You not just simply plagiarize people's work. You have an ethics. You have to quote the person, and you must not influence by other person writing on you. You can read, no problem, but the way he or she puts in her or his thesis cannot influence you. You must have your own identity. This is what you want to write. I just take example of my own. When I do my PhD thesis, I just wrote something that no one write before. Many people talk about third world countries, but no one writes regarding the OIC countries. Because OIC countries also are third world countries, OIC also put in the least developed countries, OIC also in the developing countries. So my writing are more critical than just third world country. And I critique the international economic law in terms of social justice that been given through the WTO, IMF, and the World Bank. So that's why you have to know what is your substance, because you need to prove your case in one of the chapter, whether it's chapter 3 or chapter 4. That is the case, and how you see the problem. That's why your chapter say is the conclusion of the problems. Can you think that what you suggest can be implemented by the government or any authorized body? If you say, I just think they do, I just think they do, I think it's not worth, because normally many of the students that I read, they just very simple. They just like put I believe, I hope the country can change their mind. Like I have one PhD student from Iraq. I become the internal examiner. His suggestion, I just say, this is rubbish, PhD one. Because why? Because he said, I wish I wish Turkey can change their mind to accept regarding the use of the Euphrates and Tigris River. Then I say, who are you to say to Turkey to change their mind? You are not the Turkish by themselves. You also Iraqis. You think the Turkey people will listen to you? Very unpractical. So I sent it back. I said, you cannot graduate, because I want to see the real one. That's why I said idealistic are not being counted into the thesis, but the realistic ones, yes. So be practical when you write a thesis, and don't write a thesis that 1,000 people already write regarding the issue of divorce, regarding child abuse. I'm not saying it's not important, but 1,000 people write on that. What is special on you? What can I see on you special? Because if you're talking about child's right, women's right, that rights, we know it already. Find something that's really challenge you, that can contribute to the society at this moment. Maybe I think for those who are still at the early writing, can really look at your thesis. What's next for you? So I think that is my lecture for today. I give because I want to give the student to ask me the question, because I do believe we have only until 2 o'clock, right? 2 o'clock Indonesian time. So I give back to the MC. I finished already my lecture, so I open for the student to ask if they have any question.
Okay, everyone. I think our moderator have a trouble in connections or something. So if you guys have any question, just drop on the chat box below, or if you want to ask directly to my dear Dr. Salawati, you can just open your mic and just ask your questions. Thank you.
No question. Terima kasih.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you for Professor Salawati. I'm sorry, I'm reconnecting that time. As I heard your explanation about thesis, it changing my eyesight about writing my own thesis right now. Thank you so much. And I have a question. What if we choose a comparison topic between two states and it's an old case? I mean, it's like on South China Sea case or Middle East war case. It's a long history and old case, but it's always have updating on that case. So can we use the topic on their case or something?
Okay, actually there's no harm for you to do something which is still ongoing, but you have to put the limits. The limit, for example, one of my students he wrote on South China Sea, but he said that the conflict South China Sea, for example, like South China Sea, between recognitions and international law, under international law, because so he makes that South China Sea is only to be taught in the perspective of sovereignty. So he doesn't go another part. So and sovereignty is the issue that still hang open for all the contestant party at South China Sea. So you limit it to certain aspect only. Okay, you limit it on certain aspect only. Okay, for example, Middle East issue. Middle East issue is always I can say always developed, because Palestinian, Arab, Israel, Syria, Yemen,
Yeah.
you know, all the issue is every day is update, but you limit your scope. For example, you can say that you take Yemen, for example, Yemen war, with the role of United Nations in implement international human rights versus international humanitarian in Yemen, you know, something like that. So you make a role, you want to say that this is the suffer of people, this is the collective by the Saudi Arabia, blah, 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 blah. But the thing that you want to write, to see, is only the role of United Nations to protect the civilian in terms of between human rights, international humanitarians. Because these two is different. So is it UN can play their role in this particular conflict? So you bring the readers only for these two issues, but in Yemen. So people are not talking about the geostrategy, the security. People talking about, can UN handle these two issues? So the good writings must answer that question and prove that to the readers they can do that. So the answer, whether humanitarian or human right, it depends on how you get the evidence and how you conclude your writing. So there's no harm. If you do the comparative studies need to be very careful, because the comparative study normally, there must a reason why you choose that country. Okay, they must, why you choose that country, why not other country? Yeah, because for me, of course, you want to choose with the best country. You want to compare whatever it is with the best country, right? For example, if you're talking about child law, the best so-called child protection is in Norway. You know, for the world say that it's in Norway, because Norway is the protect the child refugee with disability, all childs. So they don't care, you are asylum seekers, you are refugees. If you're, as long you are children, you entitled to go to school, you're entitled to get the medical health, you're entitled to get your right as human right. So as a human. So this is the thing that I think, if you want to do the comparison, you compare with Norway. You not compare with any other country, because any other country also are still like here and there have a lag. So that's why for me, very careful, you must be very clear again what you want to write, and please put the limits on the scope of writing, because if not, you keep writing and writing 20 years also, you're not going to finish it, because you keep writing and writing.
Okay, thank you for the answer. And if there is any question from the participants, just raise your hand, or from group chat maybe.
Wow, this group is very good. And no questions, not like the PhD group. The PhD group, they come out with so many questions here and there, and until we finish it, you know, there is a few questions that I have to, you know, make it clear to people. Maybe you are really clear, I guess, what you write, so you don't have any problem. You are looking very, very just a simple things. You don't have any problem with to understand on what you write.
Okay, we still have 15 minutes. So if you guys have a question to Professor Salawati, you can ask it now. Because when I'm writing my thesis, I feel like still don't know how to manage my limitation to my thesis. I'm using my topic on private military company, and it's too wide actually. But maybe all students feel it too when they choose a topic, a wide topic, a big topic, a big case, and have to know their limit. It's kind of difficult for me. I don't know the others. And do you have maybe any suggest for us how to limit our topic, or because we have to with our lecturer, we have to have one same topic, right? And sometime, because we have different thought about the case, and there is a big gap with our lecturer. So do you have any suggestions?
Okay, very simple. When you do your thesis, you have your supervisor, right? You have your supervisor, which is your lecturer. Okay. One thing that I forgot to tell you just now is, which I told the PhD student, is you must always have an interaction with your supervisor. Your supervisor is your guidance, but you must very careful when you choose your supervisor. Some supervisor want to take advantage from you, which I without prejudice, I don't tell that Undip is like that. No, it's my own experience in my university. Some supervisor is like, okay, I'm not care much about your writing. I care more what you can write, the articles for me. I against that. I don't believe that as a lecturer, you need to take advantage from your master or PhD student in writing for you. I believe my concern is always the quality of writing of my student. That is my main concern. So normally, I think you and your supervisor must always committed to sit down and always give your ideas what's next for your thesis. But your supervisor also have her or his own views on your thesis. So if what he suggests to you, or he or her just suggests to you, are not what you want, you must tell him or her nicely why you reject that idea. Okay, but you must justify, you must bring a good justification why you don't want to listen to him or her, because the supervisor normally, we want to guide the student to achieve, not to fail. So normally we want you to have that. So in this scope, you must sit down with your supervisor and say, okay, I'm writing this, it's too wide, so where I want to end that. So I do believe that's what I said, the limitation of your writing, there must be a limitation of your writing. There are so many issues under South China Sea, for example, but just choose only one to be discussed. You cannot choose everything under one thesis. No, that one you are become like a Chinaman business, doing everything, selling everything. No, we are not that. We are very specialized. We know what we do. Only one particular thing, simple. You remember, your thesis are not going to change the world. It's change your mind to look on something. Not going to change the world, because we are not politicians. The political will can change, but if the political cannot change, we can't change too. But we might become a leader in future. It's very good for the country. That's why I said what you write is a contribution to the people, right? So this is the things. So don't worry about that. The only thing is you have to sit down with your supervisor and say, I think my writing is too big, too wide. How I make it the limits on it. And I do believe your supervisor will help you in this matter. Okay, so don't worry about it. Yeah. I see there is a question from Mr. Diastama. He said, how if we have two data and we need to compare those data, and which one shall I use? Shall I use that together? If you get two data and the two is very, very good, compare which one is the latest one. But don't throw the other one. The latest one can be put in the paragraph, but the older one can be put as your footnoting or at the back of your thesis. So you prove to the reader that you did your research. Meaning that, hello, I got this too. I don't want to throw either one, but I prove to you that this is what I do. Because again and again, master thesis is about the hard work. Doing research is about to read, to dig until you finish and find the solution for your problem. So that's what I said. There is nothing harm, there's nothing wrong with any information, with any primary or secondary sources. It's about how you manage to put in, whether it's in the content, the body of your thesis, or the footnoting, or the APA system. Simple as that. Okay? Any other questions?
Okay, Mr. Pulung, as an international law lecturer from Diponegoro University, has asking you something.
Okay.
Please, Mr.
Okay, thank you, Madam Moderator. Good day, everyone, and good day, Doctor. We met again in here. And now I still have question because it's regarding about have the Master of Law research. So that's why that I think it's better to make sure regarding about have I mean like the information regarding about have research in Master of Law. Honestly, that because I'm still in Master of Law, so which is that I don't have any right to teach in Master of Law because this is the rule of the Indonesia. But before, when I in PhD, maybe I will have a right to teach in Master of Law in the Undip, something like that. But my question is very simple, Doctor. So what do you think if they have, I mean, like in certain university, but in outside in foreign and Indonesia, we can see that some certain lecturer is want to be a supervisor, would like to be put the doctrinal, more doctrinal, and sometimes they talk about in the spectrum of philosophy, which is that the spectrum of philosophy is more like a thesis for the PhD or dissertation. So I think, is that normal, or what do you think? I think I need your opinion. And my second point is very simple too, because Diponegoro University and also have collaboration with UKM, and maybe after this, if they have any some like the postgraduate student that want to continue in PhD in National University of Malaysia. So I think I think like, can you give some like strongly suggestion to us, onto our student in here? So what's we prepare before we going to take PhD in UKM, which is because as I saw that the different research, the construction of the research, which is a thesis in Master of Law in Diponegoro University and also in UKM, is totally different, because UKM is more using a jurisprudence and talk critical and make a comparison, and they're using about have so many literature and something like that. So I think that's all my question. So I give back to your to hear your response. Thank you very much.
Okay, I understand. All right. Okay, some people was talking about the doctrinal, it's about philosophy. That's why I said again, first, who is your supervisor? You have to know your supervisor. When you want to do on which topic, please find the person who are expert on that, not someone that just simply you like her or you like him. No. Thesis is a thesis. That's why we say before you go to another university, yeah, you need to know who is the supervisor and how his work or her work. If better you know her personally or him personally, that would be easy, because the journey to do this research are not simple, you know, so you have to know. So whether it's doctrinal, whether it's a philosophy, actually what is your topic? Some people, they always claim that they know and they know international law. But if you write on international law, you must be very different from other people. Because why? The national law, the approach is different. International law approach is different. Yeah, we are in same law faculty, yes. But that's why I say again, back to who is the expert that you refer to as your supervisor. Because he or she will advise you accordingly. Cannot simply that because, oh, I was doing my master with her and I think she's okay. No, it's not. Some people, all the people can say, hey, I'm good in international law. I'm good. How good is she? You have to do your own investigation. How many writings, how many books that he or she writes to understand the clear view of him. Okay, so I think the doctriner, I'm not that particular person, because for me, whenever you come to do law, your research on law, you must understand that you must have a four issue. First, the history. Second, the jurisprudence. Third is comparison. Fourth is your whole thesis must be critical. and analytical. Meaning, if you write a law thesis, it's not going to be the same like social science, the other social science. You know, if you look at people from political science thesis and you take the people who are doing international law, you know this is a law thesis. This is a social science thesis. I'm not saying the social science is not good or very easy. No, I'm talking the weight of it is more heavier. The responsibility are more. So whether it's doctrinal or it's philosophy, whether it's you do under law, these four you have to done. Must have that element in your thesis. Second question regarding how if the people want to doing the PhD thesis in UKM, I think it's more or less you have to know who's your potential supervisor. Because for me, we will always have if you're being accepted to the program, normally you have to go to class for the research methodology. So all the student, whether it's master, full-time, part-time, coursework, research, partial or PhD, must go for that particular class. But again, back to your supervisor, because you might write international law thesis. The person who teach in the methodology are not public international law. So they still will want to bring you understanding to the local law. That's dangerous. That's why me, Dr. Hanif and Dr. Nadia, three of us, we are always guide our student, because we know the other lecturers are not international law, but they're always and force people to believe in what they believe, which is very wrong. So I will always say to my student, don't worry, you go, you do whatever it is, but come back to me. We will sit down and do it. Don't worry, I'm the one who will tell you when you want to go for Viva. Don't worry, I'm the one who find the lecturer that going to read your thesis. It's on me. So I know what to do with my student. So far, I'm doing well, so no problem. Again and again, your relationship with your supervisor is really tremendously important. Okay.
I think it's pretty clear. Thank you, Doctor.
Yes. I think okay, from there's a panitia Bagus Rahmanda. Prof, permission to ask how to get supporting data thesis during a pandemic, because many institutions cannot accept student for research. Thanks. Oh, actually, I think data can be get, no problem. Of course, a little bit difficult for you to do face-to-face interview or face-to-face collecting data, but still you can collect the data. I think you can still write in to get from the government agency or private agency, and you can still have Zoom or whatever during the conversation with a particular person. Many institutions cannot accept student for. I think if you are talking about doing for research, they don't want you to come, but they can help. But normally you have to write into them why you want to write, because you are a PhD student or master student. Regardless, you need that particular data. But somehow rather, like Malaysian immigration, even I write for 10 times, they don't entertain me. So what I do is I have to go by my own. So when there is no lockdown, I managed to get the appointment, and I went by myself. So I got all the data that I want. But I think that's not hindered you from doing your research, because I think still the only thing you have to double hard work only. So this is where your creativity will be play to get that data. And then I have a case. Sometimes when we start doing a research, we have a picture about how our research will end, and it could end as what we prefer. In doing so, we use a certain like theory to support our research and exclude other theories. My question, can we actually do this? Is there any moral obligation in doing research? I think it's wrong. Wrong because you cannot imagine how your research will be end, because we are not doing the social science hypothesis. Law research, when you're doing law research, you will find something surprise in the middle. Seriously, you cannot, like, if you know already what is that, then that's not a thesis. That is your imagination. You're writing your imagination on a piece of paper, which is you call thesis. That's wrong. The point is, Kesa, you must read as much as you can and gather as much as you can, all the resources. Then you will see it's not what you thought. That's why I said, try to find the 5 years latest sources. You do the comparison, yeah? So then you will see that it would not end what you prefer. It will be something else happen. If you write PhD, it's always a bomb. Suddenly the bomb explode here, explode there. Suddenly, oh my God, I thought it would be like this. No, it's not. Your finding will be different. On the way you're doing it, you will find it's different. Normally, you not get 100% what you believe you can get it, because if you are really research into it deep, very deeply. So can we actually do this? I not encourage you to do that. Do not imagine, but be factual, be realism, be more practical, which is this is what happened. So bear with that when you're writing. Is there any moral obligation in doing this? So of course there is a moral obligation. First, you cannot plagiarize somebody else's work. You cannot take someone else's writing and put as your writing. No, you must credit the person. You must quote the person, and you cannot paraphrase the person, because you whatever you do, these people you get from the books, from the article, you have to quote. I think you must be very transparent when you write. And today, like in UK, we have turn in. Turn in is where we will, before you submit your thesis, we will check your originality. So those who have each chapter more than 30%, will ask you to reduce it. So there's no chances that you can take someone else's work and send that this is my work. No, that's a moral obligation. Yeah. And from Research Kennedy to everyone, selamat pagi. Apa pendapat Prof tentang kerangka penelitian yang terdiri atas kerangka konseptual dan kerangka teori? Yeah, conceptual theory and also this theory. Theory is just a theory, Kennedy. Theory is a theory. Conceptual, yes, we need the theoretical concept on that, but it's not something that you must be tied on. Dia tidak akan mengikat kamu sepanjang penulisan kamu. Kamu kena faham apa yang kamu mau tulis. Dan memang ada kerangka konseptual dan ada juga kerangka teori. Tetapi boleh digabungkan. You must see that what is the relevant to your thesis. That's what I said again. What is your thesis? Is it your thesis is talking a civil law, a private international law, business, what? So then you can see whether you need to use this conceptual or framework or the theory of framework. Yeah, for me, that one you need to sit down with your supervisor, because your supervisor is the best to explain to you. But for me, both are really important. But in my thesis, is normally I go for the kerangka conceptual. Sebab you need to understand the concept. Theory is just a theory. Not necessarily you will practice it. Not necessarily all the country can practice it. So conceptual is a concept that we will normally apply when we're using the law. So in my student thesis, normally they have the conceptual framework rather than the theory framework, because the theory under international law, all is a theory. It's already theory. That what we want to see is the reality. So can we produce that? Can we do that? So the conceptual theory is much be relevant under international law. Any other question, or we already time's up?
Yeah, unfortunately. Oh, there is maybe last question from Mr. Yastama regarding the theory. Do you prefer to use as much theories as we can find, or use one general theory? Maybe this is the last question for today.
Okay, like I says again to you, theory is it you doing the qualitative or quantitative? For legal, it's always the qualitative. We're not going for the quantitative, because quantitative is normally for the people who doing it under the science. Yeah, when they use the laboratories. For us, it's qualitative. Qualitative means is an essay that you need to prove your ideas, your research question into the chapters and support with the relevant sources that the problem that you bring in your thesis will be solved accordingly. So I think this is where the theory is all about. Just only one. For law, is only qualitative, not quantitative. That is the theory. And I see, is it okay for another last one? That he said that I want to ask you to think about which is better between a thick thesis and a light thesis proposal. My dear, it's not about thick or light. It's about the content, what you want to write. Thick, if not useless, also cannot be used. Light is full of the things, then can be used. It's not about the thick of the paper. It's about how critical you put your writing into it. That's matter.
Okay, we still have some time, so if you have any questions, you can ask it now. No? Is it enough for the question and answer session? Okay, I think,
Hello.
yeah.
Yes, I hear somebody say something.
Yes, yes.
Okay.
One piece from Papua New Guinea.
Okay.
Yes, please, Mr. One Piece.
Yes, thank you. Nice. My network is not working well, and I'm trying to pick up and catch up with you. I'm a bit late,
Okay.
but I just want to ask a question. My research, my title of the research is based on Papua New Guinea. There's some illegal logging and illegal fishing in our country, and I'm trying to do a research based in Papua New Guinea. Regarding that, I have two living in Papua New Guinea, and I'm doing my research. I can any other countries. Is it okay for me to do research based in Papua New Guinea only regarding illegal fishing in Papua New Guinea? That's my title. And yeah, if you can answer that question first, please.
Okay, I think there's no wrong for you because you want to give your writing is only regarding the illegal lodging in Papua New Guinea. So you want to prove that there is illegal lodging. It could be with the environment, with the crime, criminal law, and all that. Then only one chapter you compare regarding the enforcement regarding the illegal lodging in other country, which is you can tell your government, okay, look, for example, Malaysia have the illegal lodging, but this is what the action that they taken until this illegal lodging has not happened. So that one is okay. Comparative only with one country, but only one chapter in your thesis, not the whole. Okay, the rest you write what you want to write. So I think that is the best for you.
Okay.
But no need to compare with other countries. No, because you are talking about your country, you want to contribute to your society regarding this and to your government. So only one chapter in your thesis which you compare how for you to deal with this matter with the very success country that can overcome the problem of the illegal lodging. Only that.
Thank you.
Okay, welcome.
Thank you very much.
Welcome.
Okay, thank you, Mr. One Piece, for the question. Is there any questions left?
I think that's all. If there's anything later, I'll ask it later.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. So, this is the end of our discussion. Let me briefly restate Professor Salawati's main point. The thesis is something that we have to know when we're writing, and we don't writing a textbook, so we have to know the point and the limits of our thesis. So it's been a pleasure being with all of you today. Thank you for all participants. And now, Miss Tisha could close this discussion now. Thank you for everyone.
Okay, thank you very much, Ms. Anindya Gita, for guiding the sessions. Well, ladies and gentlemen, before we move to the next agenda, we will take a photo for our documentation. So, for all the participants, please turn on your camera.
Sorry, host. Maybe you can explain in bahasa.
Oke. Untuk semua partisipan, dimohon untuk menyalakan kamera karena akan ada sesi foto bersama. Terima kasih. Okay, I think that's enough. Okay, I will count. Okay, I will count down. Okay. In 3, 2, 1. In 3, and one more. Okay, give your best pose, please. In 3, 2, 1. All right. Thank you so much. Okay, finally we are in the end of the sessions. It has been a great and wonderful afternoon with all of you. I would like to say thank you again to our special speakers, the one and only Associate Professor Salawati Matbasir LLB LLM, and Miss Anitya Gita Kirina Persada SH as our moderator today, and absolutely for all the participants for attending the sessions actively. May what we conducted today will be useful for us. As the master of ceremony and even guiding today's event, I made a mistake or opened someone here. Please forgive me. That's all for today. Good afternoon and see you on another sessions of Visiting Lecture 2020. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Shalom, Om Santi 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 Om, Namo Buddhaya, Salam Kebajikan. Thank you all.
Thank you, Professor.
Thank you, Professor.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Thank you, everyone.
Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye.